Welcome back! In this video, we're going to explore an amazingly powerful tool built into Elementor and our theme, and add awesome animations to our site and give it some extra polish. Now, if you were designing a site without Elementor or the Phlox theme, animations like this would take lots of time and involve hundreds of lines of CSS code. So as you'll see in a moment, the ability to add these animations effortlessly in WordPress is a huge advantage and will allow us to add them all across our site in just a few minutes. In this video, we'll go page by page, starting with the home page. So let's jump in. We'll head over here to Pages and open our home page in Elementor. Now, by animations, we simply mean the ability for something on a page to move dynamically. We'll play around here with the header to show you how this works. To get started with an animation, we'll click the element we want to animate. Let's start with this word move right here. We'll close our navigator and come over here, click Edit Heading, and go to the Advanced tab. Now here we'll see a couple different options. One for motion effects, and one built into the Phlox theme called Entrance Animation. Now these both share some things in common, but for this video, we're going to use the Phlox animations as they're built in natively to the theme, and in my opinion are just a little bit better. So to add an animation, just unfold this Entrance Animation dropdown, and we can pick our animation. When choosing animations, it's important to look at the website objectively, the way a visitor would see it, the way it's laid out, and make educated decisions. We don't want crazy animations and things flying all around, but we want something tasteful. To add an animation, just choose it from the list. There's a lot of animations built into Phlox, all different kinds, some crazier than others. For this one, I think it would be cool if the text just faded in. So let's go here, and since it's aligned to the left of the screen a bit, let's try a fade in left. Now when we click this, we'll see it preview in the window. That's cool, really subtle, but nice. Now again, like I said, we could pick anything here. We could pick rotate in and see something crazy like that. We can go down here and pulse in 4. There's all kinds of different animations. We're going to keep this site pretty simple though, so let's go back up and just fade in left. Now we can also set a custom duration for this fade in. That looked a little quick to me, so let's type in a number here. Now it says here that the duration is measured in milliseconds. So for every 1,000 milliseconds, we'll have 1 second of animation. Let's try 500 for a half a second of animation. Now we might have to toggle this to a different one to see how this goes. That's still pretty fast. Let's go up to a second. That looks better. Now let's add the same animation to this word rest. We'll head up to Advanced, come down to our entrance animations, scroll down, fade in left. Let's make it 1 second. And now let's put a delay of 1 second on it as well. Now if we update our page and refresh, we should see them fade in like that. Now I think 1 second is too long, but it'd be neat if these faded in one after another. So let's go back to rest, back to entrance animation, and change the delay to 700 milliseconds. We'll go up to move as well, and let's add a delay to that. Maybe just 200, just to give it a little second before the animation starts. Now, another way to be previewing this quickly is to open up a new browser window and just go to our website. There we go. Now we're starting to see what would happen. So let's go back over here. And now on repeat, let's add the same animation. Fade in left, 1,000 milliseconds of duration, and let's make this one wait an entire second. We'll hit update again, and head over here and refresh. Great. Now let's do something with this last line here. Go over to Advanced. And we'll just have this one fade in. And we'll give it the same duration, 1000. And we'll make it delay 1500 milliseconds, so 1.5 seconds. Click Update. Come back over here. Refresh our page. Cool. Looks pretty good. Let's go back here and look at the rest of our page. Now, I would advise against doing more complicated animations everywhere on a page and keep things simple. For this text box here on the left, let's try adding an animation, but to the whole column. Click Entrance Animation, and let's choose Fade In Up. That's cool. Let's see what number 1 does. Okay, and number 2. This is all trial and error. I think number 2 looks pretty good. Let's do that. Let's move down here to the second section. I think we could do the same thing here, and we can also fade up by section. So let's choose this section, choose Advanced, Entrance Animation. Let's fade in from the right. And let's add this to all 3 of these. We'll add that delay again of 1 second per item. And now we'll go to this third one. Advanced, Entrance Animation, Fade in right, set the delay to 2000 milliseconds, and click Update. And let's refresh this page. Now another neat thing about animations is that they trigger on your scroll. So you can see there as we bring it into view, that's when these things fade in. Let's go back and let's adjust these since the delay seems a little long. Again, this is all subjective, so just play around until your animation speed fits what you're looking for. We'll change this to 700 and we change that last one to 1500. We'll hit Update. We'll come down here and we'll do the same thing, except this one will just fade in altogether from the left. Entrance Animation, Animation, Fade in left. Okay, let's update this page and check one more time and see how it's looking. Go back to the top, refresh our page. Cool. All right, well this is looking really good. The only other thing on the home page I'd like to point out is that we can also add animations to buttons as well, and they're a different kind of animation. So let's go to this button settings. Let's click Style, go to Hover, and we can add a hover animation here to this button. Now again, let's not go crazy, but with hover animations, we don't see anything until the button's hovered over, so it won't really add any more visual busyness to the page. There's all kinds of crazy hover effects here, but we'll just pick Shrink. And now you can see when we hover the button, it gets smaller. Another subtle effect, but a great one to add a little polish to our page. Now let's go over here and right-click and hit Copy. A great thing about certain effects is that we can copy and paste them as well. So let's come down to the What We Do button, right-click on it, and hit Paste Style. Now we'll have to move it back centered, but it already has the hover animation added. Now, I'm sure you're probably thinking, that's great. Why didn't you tell me this a long time ago? And I wanted us to get some practice at manually doing stuff, but Elementor is filled with shortcuts like this that'll help us design faster. So let's come down to this one, click Paste Style, edit it to recenter, and we have our hover effect. That's great. We'll be adding this to every page. All right, so our home page looks pretty good. You may want to go back and adjust some of the timings of the different animations, or add more or remove them altogether. It's completely up to you. But we'll hit Update, head back out of this to the dashboard, click WordPress to go back one more level, and head on over to our About page to add some animations there. All right, now we'll do the same thing here with the title, and we'll do it to this whole column. We want these to stay consistent, so we'll add the same effect we did to the home page. I think it would look a little bit too much to have different animations on the different pages. So let's just choose Fade In Left. Let's add a duration of 1 second, and we'll leave it like that. Now for this page especially, I don't think we need everything coming in, and especially this header that says simple is better, less is more. This is an important statement for our website, so let's actually not do any animations on this. But we can fade in this image. Let's do the whole column, hit Advanced, Entrance Animation, and let's add a Fade In Right. There we go. That looks good. Let's scroll down to this second section, see what we can do here. Let's go down to our image, right click, Edit Image, Advanced, Entrance Animation, and let's try a different one. Let's try Scale Down. That's cool, kind of fades in and starts out big and then shrinks into its final position. Another interesting property we can set on an animation is this property called easing. Now explaining easing might be a little bit complicated, but once I show you some options here, you'll see the difference. Easing has to do with how an animation moves through time. So how quickly the animation we choose occurs. Animations can start slow and end fast, or start fast and end slow. Let's take a look here at some different easing and see what happens. Let's pick Circ In. Now let's pick Scale Down 1. Did you see how that one started slow and then snapped into place at the end? Let's try a different one. Let's try Court Out. Go back to Scale Down. There, and that one was pretty even throughout. I like that one, so we'll leave it there. Now we'll take this whole column and just add a Fade In Right to it. Nothing fancy, just Fade In Right. Looks good. All right, let's update and keep moving. Go back to the dashboard, back out to our pages, and let's look at our contact page. Now again, we'll go up here quickly to the text, go to Advanced, and add our Fade In Left. And down here, we won't do anything too fancy. Let's take this whole column as a whole and add a simple Fade In Left as well to that. We'll go to our image gallery and Fade In Right. I personally really like the simple effects that just kind of let us watch the page build itself when we load it. Fade In Right. And maybe these text blocks down here can fade in from the bottom. Let's do Fade In Up. And the same with this one. All right, let's update our page. And let's go back to our preview window and open the contact page to see how it looks. Cool. Everything kind of built itself. So I hope you could see how subtle animations really add to the visual experience on the page. All right, we've got 2 pages left. Let's go back to our edit window. Go back to our dashboard. Go back to our pages. And open up our blog in Elementor. Now here we'll add our same fade in left to the text. Change our duration. Now here, I think I want to be really subtle with how we handle this since there's a lot of visual stuff happening here. Let's keep the headlines on the page right from load, and let's just fade in the 2 blog sections. So let's go to this one, hit Advanced, Entrance Animation, and let's fade in up. Let's pick a different easing here. Now, I've looked through these, so I like quad in. It's a little more subtle. Let's go here to this one. And let's add the same thing. All right, let's hit update. Go back over to our page here, click blog, see how it looks. Yeah. Clean and simple. Looks good. All right, we've got one more page here. Let's go back to our dashboard, back to our pages, and open up our What We Do page. All right, we'll head up here, click Advanced, Entrance Animation, fade in left, change our duration, and come down here. Now for our photo on the left, we'll do that same thing. We'll fade in left, leave it as is. And now on this right, I want to show you something else about animations. We're going to take the whole column and fade it in right. But then we're also going to take this top section and add a separate animation to it. Do a fade in up with a quad in easing. Let's hit update just so you can see what this looks like. So we'll go back to our preview window, click What We Do. There, did you see how that moved in from the right and up? Let's reload the page and watch again. Cool. All right, let's go back to our editor. Let's go to this button, go to Style, hover, and add our shrink animation there. We'll copy this. And before we jump in, let's quickly paste this to each of our other buttons. We'll paste this style, and then quickly come in and realign these center. All right. Now on this second one, we'll do the same thing as the top for consistency, but we'll do it from the opposite direction. So we'll take this whole column, we'll add an entrance animation of fade in left, take this section and fade in up with a quad in easing. And let's also take this section and add a fade in up with quad in easing. Let's update our page and see how this looks. Again, animations are kind of just trial and error. Nice. All right, let's go back and work on our final section. For this section, we'll start off here, do the same thing we've been doing, hit Advanced, Entrance Animation, Fade in Right, take this top section, fade in up, with a quad in easing, and let's do the same thing for our social icons here. Entrance Animation, fade in up, quad in easing. Now for these pictures on the left, let's go ahead and take the top one, and we'll add a fade in left. And then on this one, we'll add a fade in up with a little bit of a delay. Let's just delay it 700 milliseconds. We'll hit Update, head back over to our page, go up to the top, and reload. Nice. That's it. It's truly amazing how much power we have over the visual look of our site with just a few clicks. Now that you have the hang of it, spend some more time continuing to style your site by trying different animations or timings or easing in and out to make sure your site experience is even more immersive. Just remember, always keep your visitors and site style in mind. Animations are awesome, but there's a fine line between amazing, immersive site experiences and distracting, visually cluttered sites. Once you're done customizing, come on back for one more important video that will help us add the final touches to our website. See you then.